Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tuesdays in 10 with Molly. This week, we're going to talk a little bit about non-attachment, or aparigraha, which is the last yama in the 8 limbs path of yoga. And I was thinking about this week's topic and how focused I wanted it to be on healthcare education or the things that we need in this time in our global pandemic and our isolation and everything that's going on. And I thought, I might as well share what I've been practicing and hope that it's helpful for you. So talking about aparigraha, about non-attachment, is this principle of technically outward, but today we're going to talk about it as inward, behaviors or principles where we are letting go of fear, we're letting go of failures of old ideologies. And I think for me, why it's so important that I practice aparigraha is that I am a planner, right? I am a type A, goal-oriented, this is what I set out to do, and this is how I'm going to get there type of person. And that's helped me a lot in life, and it's not a horrible trait to have, but it can get in my way, and I know that a lot of people have similar traits like that, and I feel like it might be getting in your way right now as well, because I don't know about you, but I certainly didn't plan for a stay-at-home order, months of global pandemic way of life, essentially, right now, our new normal. I think I talked about that a couple weeks ago, whatever that means, or our temporary normal, but letting go of that attachment, of that attachment to an idea or a picture, a way of thinking, a goal, and not only letting it go, but giving yourself the opportunity to look back at what it's allowing, what that change is allowing. And if you can find meaning, if you can find gratitude, if you can look at a pivot. I was on a wonderful networking call this morning. We talked about pivots. And I was like, I am so different, or my path is so different in the last 2.5 months that I had planned for. And I'm looking at the ways that I've pivoted that idea, the ways that I've released that attachment, that I'm practicing non-attachment, and I'm accepting that pivot, whatever that is. If your pivot is in your career, if it's in your family, if it's in your self-care, the way you treat your body, if it's your hobbies and anything like that, what that pivot looks like to you and what meaning it has in it. And I'm a big fan of journaling, and I should probably do it way more than I do. I think about things and I go to journal it, and then I end up not always writing it down. But my intention was there, so I think that partially counts. But look at when that comes up, when you're listening to this and thinking, what am I stuck on, or what am I not letting go that's getting stuck, right? What am I'm sticking in a mindset that no longer can happen the way that I had intended it to. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It doesn't mean that once I'm able to go back into nursing homes and hospitals and hospices again, that I'm not immediately going to be a dance therapist and a yoga teacher in person, because that's what I do and that's who I am. But right now I can't. So what am I going to do with that pivot? What am I going to do, and how am I going to work with that forced change, right? Where I had to release that attachment to that plan and that idea, and how am I going to move through it? How am I going to move forward from it, right? And not sitting in the fact, and I am very, I don't want to say blame, guilty, I guess, guilty of this myself, of sitting at my desk and going, God, I can't believe this didn't work out the way I planned. I can't believe I did all this work and it's not what I intended it to be, right? I planned it, I put in all this time and all this effort, and this is what I wanted, and it didn't happen because of X, Y, and Z. And you know what? What this pandemic has taught me, and what practicing aparigraha has taught me, is that probably wasn't going to work out the way I planned anyway, right? Nothing really does. Right? We have an intention, we have a plan, and this idea of how something should look, right? I always love the idea of the planned emptiness, right? That I have a plan, I'm going in, this is what I'm intending, and if it doesn't happen, it's okay, right? I've planned for emptiness. I've planned for whatever. I have a plan, but I'm not attached to it, right? With planned emptiness, I'm practicing this non-attachment. I'm practicing to the fact that I've got these goals, I've got these mantras and these intentions and these plans, and if it doesn't go exactly how I planned, that's okay. I'm going to take what I learned, what I found meaning in from what did happen from that plan, and maybe what happened from my plan was better, right? Because I didn't say, God, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But if I step back and say, oh, wow, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but look what did. Look what came from that. Look what came from me releasing that need to know. And I swear, we've got so many friends and family and coworkers of mine that are like, wow, Molly, really? Because I am, you have no idea. The absolute person that is like, that was my plan, it didn't work out. What do I do now? You know, I was so well intended and planned, and now I'm out. It's out, you know. What do I do? And if anything, that this time at home, this time for me to work on my company, to work on myself, to be with family, has taught me is the importance of really, really letting that go. Because there's nothing I can do about it, right? There's nothing I can control about things I cannot control. If that's the situation, if that's other people's behaviors and thoughts and reactions, I can't control that. I can't be prepared to know what someone else is going to think or react and then feel a certain way when they don't. Right? All I can do is control my reactions to things, and all I can do is release that need for attachment so that when it doesn't happen the way I planned, I'm okay. And I can see the beauty and find the gratitude and the meaning in what came out of it, rather than being disappointed and upset and distraught and guilty and all of those feelings, and really sometimes being like, I failed. Right? How many times do you do something, you're like, well, I failed at that. That sucked. Right? Guess that's over. But if you look at it and say, you know, yeah, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to, but look what did. Maybe you'll end up in a different place than what you attended, and that place might be better. So your homework this week is to practice that non-attachment in whatever way. Don't try and change everything and say, okay, I've released it all and I'm good, and then feel, right, coming to that, I failed at something else or didn't turn out the way it did I wanted it to again. But putting that in your mindset and just seeing what happens, right? Just giving yourself that chance to manifest that idea of non-attachment, and just go from there. And if you watch this and you're like, wow, I had this experience, or I had this experience and it was terrible and I got to do it again, email me, message me, Facebook, Instagram, at Moves by Molly, and you can always email me energydancehealing@gmail.com. I hope this was helpful and a little bit more of a personal aspect of these Tuesdays at 10, but I'm hoping that the struggles that I myself am dealing with and facing, sharing those with you can help you, and wherever you are in the world, that will manifest that energy of being in that space together. And I will see you next week.